Okay, so what are lipids? What's the more everyday term that we normally use for lipids?
Fats.
Fats. So lipids are fats. Fats are going to be the most common type of lipids that we talk about. And then this is all going to be on page 42. So this is going to be the second major type of our organic molecules. And we have something called triglycerides. So triglycerides are kind of going to be our main, just like when we talk about carbohydrates, we have mono, poly, and disaccharides. Here we have triglycerides. And so triglyceride, when we see in this figure, we're going to have one glycerol and 3 fatty acids. And they're going to be linked together. And so there's different types of them. So that we have saturated and unsaturated fats. Do you know which one's which? Which one would have covalent bonds and every single carbon is going to be saturated with hydrogens?
I think saturated.
Yeah, so that's the key with saturated. Think of it, it's saturated with hydrogen bonds. And so when we draw it, we would draw it just like this. Every single carbon has a hydrogen. Completely saturated. Whereas when we were to draw a unsaturated, if you'll notice on that picture, it can look a little different. So every once in a while we'll have a hydrogen, but you know, it's not saturated. And then we'll also have these double covalent bonds. Whereas up here, we always just have one line representing a bond. Here we can have double bonds. So, let's see, there's my marker. One of these are going to be liquid at room temperature, and the other one is going to be a solid at room temperature.
Unsaturated is liquid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. And how I like, and this is always going to be at room temperature. And so what I kind of like to think of as an easy way to remember is we know saturated is going to be the one that looks like this. Everything has a hydrogen bond. And so I think this kind of looks very stable, doesn't it? That doesn't look like something you'll squish down and kind of mold over. Whereas this does. You could make this into a liquid. Whereas this one looks like a solid. It's a brick. So this is going to be things like butter, like beef, pork, whole milk. Would be a saturated fat. So I just think normally of butter because I think it looks like a stick of butter. The butter, whereas this one's a liquid. And so this would be more your oils. Normally, this would be your more healthy. So this one would represent maybe the Oreo cream filling that's inside. This one isn't going to be good for you. This one will be a little bit better for you. It'll be more of the olive oil type things. And those are the two really important things to know about lipids. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, and here is where we'll talk about the hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Perfect, yeah. So, hydrophobic. Is it okay if I erase this?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what a phobia is?
Great.
Yeah.
Fear.
Yep, so you have a fear. So we're going to write hydrophobic and hydrophilic. Okay, so one of these is going to be water loving and one is going to be water fearing. Which one's going to be which?
I feel like water loving.
Uh-huh.
Hydrophobic opposite.
Perfect. So, there's different types of lipids that are going to accept water and some that won't. So kind of when you're thinking about cooking in the kitchen, when you have grease or like a fatty, let's say after you make bacon, okay, let's say that settles, it gets hard, you know. A lot of people use it for like gravy and stuff. When you pour water, is it just going to mix up as if it's like Kool-Aid? No. So it's because it's going to be most likely hydrophobic. Or it's definitely going to be a lipid. Hydrophobic because it's like, I'm not going to mix and form a mixture with water. And so the important thing to know about this is it has to do with what we call phospholipids. And they're very similar to triglycerides. But these are going to make, later on he'll talk, did he talk about the phospholipid bilayer?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, let's see. He might have not. I don't think you guys have gotten there yet. Let's see, put one more back.
What's the bilayer? Like he drew like.
Yep. Perfect, yeah. So that would be the bilayer. Just make sure it's in there. Yep. Okay, so the bilayer is exactly what you just drew. We're going to have, and there's a diagram right here. You have the heads and you have the tails. Which one is hydrophobic and which one is hydrophilic?
The outside, the circles are hydrophilic. The head, I think, is hydrophilic.
Yeah, perfect. Here's hydrophilic, and all the heads are going to be hydrophilic. Okay, and the tails are what? Hydrophobic. So this is going to be, you'll find it in your cell membranes. That's right. So this you'll find in your cell membranes, and basically, normally when you have a cell membrane, you'll also have proteins that will kind of be hanging out there. And you have different, things kind of suspended in them. But what it is it's a bilayer. It's kind of like the gatekeeper. And so it's hanging out in your cell. This is kind of the border of your cell. And then let's say, here's where maybe your nucleus is. Here's your mitochondria. All those different things. This is going to be your gatekeeper. So it'll say what can and cannot come in. So let's say we have a substance over here that is hydrophilic. Okay, so it's water loving. Will this let it in? Will it let it pass?
No, I don't think so.
It's no, yeah, you're right. So basically, here, let's draw it red. So we have the hydrophilic. It won't let it pass because this is so thick. So even though this is the first, you would think, oh, it's hydrophilic, it's going to repel anything that's hydrophobic. It actually says, okay, if you're hydrophobic, you can come in, because this would be who kind of makes the decision. So if we have something hydrophilic, it will not go in. But if you have something that's hydrophobic, it'll go into the cell all the way in, and it can give nutrients, a lot, like maybe RNA, DNA. They can help with proteins too. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you just have to learn the philic and phobia. You'll be good.